very quickly, what has been the methodology for doing this research? It has been a very innovative method that we used. We studied 123 enterprises across 16 industry verticals, of which hospitals has been one. And we studied large and listed companies, in this case, large and listed hospital and hospital chains, and delve deep into their annual reports and other online sources for the period 2016 till 2021. So 2022 reports are not yet out. So what was the last available report? We have gone through that. And we collected, collated, structured and analyzed that narrative which came out of it, and it helped us identify what is that these 123 enterprises across 16 industry verticals have been doing, planning to do, what is the business context which is kind of spurring them to invest on IT and digital, and what is that they may do. So we kind of wore our analyst hat and predicted that what are the areas where they will be active in the next 12 to 18. We mapped each enterprise and collective of enterprises in terms of industries onto this matrix. This is a very interesting matrix. So digital, we believe, in any industry or in any organization, we will evolve along two dimensions. The technology evolution, where it moves from very baseline islands of automation to looking at how these baseline islands of automation can be connected together, to looking at how digital can be used in a more contextual way, and one or two pillars of digital, whether it is SMAC or SMAC Plus, are being built up based on each organization's individual needs. And finally, how do they converge not only amongst themselves, the digital pillars, but also with the baseline IT infrastructure and applications that exist. And finally, how that it can evolve into a more digitalized, connected digital ecosystem. So that's the tech evolution. The other is what is the coverage from an enterprise point of view. So looking at this coverage dimension, it moves from individual specific technologies to team-based tools to functions being digitalized, and finally from functions to multiple functions, which means enterprise level initiative comes up, and then how it can move into the open market. So let me show you how individual industries, the 16 industries which are given on the right hand side of this slide, non-banking finance companies, banking, automobile, to infrastructure and construction, manufacturing, discrete, media, power and utility, hospitals and others, how they map on this particular matrix. So this is how they get placed in terms of concrete data that is available from grounds up study of these industries, in terms of the individual organizations that make up these industries and where are they in their journey, and as a whole, where would the industry be. So hospital is still at the lower end of the spectrum, where it is moving from a baseline plus, where applications are being put, islands of automation are being integrated, and a holistic system or a platform is evolving. It is also toying up with a few digital ideas, be it analytics, be it cloud, be it artificial intelligence, and looking at the coverage, it is moving from function specific to an overall enterprise specific. So when I say function specific, it would be the core hospital services, the pharmacy, the radiology. Each of these domains are now slowly merging together to form an enterprise level platform. So the journey has begun for most of the hospitals. So this is an average. I'm sure there would be some hospitals which will be ahead in the race, and there will be certain other hospitals which will be laggards. But at an overall industry view, we look at hospitals being placed where it is, and there is a lot that will evolve in terms of concrete activities in the hospital sector. very quick view on how IT spend is going to emerge, and we believe that in hospital sector, IT spend will revive into 2022 and 2023. So it will invest more and touch the pre-COVID level that it has been doing, and it is at par with an average of all the industries put together. 16 areas that we identified, which kind of sums up and places each organization onto that matrix that I had just shown you. And these 16 areas, let me just quickly go through them. They correspond to 3 levels: the technology level, the process level, and the business level, business initiatives level. There are 3 colors in which we have shown specifically for the hospital sector, and it means that if it is green, there is a high probability or there is a higher intensity of spending there. If it is orange, then there is a moderate probability of spending on those areas, and if it is gray, then there is lower level of probability in terms of hospital spending on them. So this is most of the hospitals put together. So very clearly the focus is emerging on the middle part, which is the process level, where business process automation and digital operations are being the subject of the investments made by the hospital. The last slide, and this is a very busy as well as a very interesting slide. We identified that there are 7 digital transformation principles that are exhibited by the organizations which are very high on their digital transformation journey. We call them the digital transformation leaders. So of these 123 enterprises that we studied, we identified 24 enterprises across these 16 industries which are very high in terms of their digital transformation maturity, and they exhibit 7 principles. These 7 principles are being holistic, being able to meet competing imperatives or imperatives that are opposing to each other. They don't go together well. Putting up structures of change, putting up collaboration and learning structures, defining and putting a modern infrastructure, looking at the emerging technologies from an enterprise scale, and being very, very data centered. Now, how do we map hospitals on these? We identified there are 5 or 6 areas around which hospitals are busy spending. The first, and if you look at the arrow between the 2 boxes on the right hand side, it denotes whether this particular theme is high, moderate or low in terms of its probability. So this kind of defines what is going to happen in the hospital sector in the next 12 to 18 months. So the first is digital healthcare platform. I think this is a priority for almost all the hospitals, and it means that they integrate across domains, whether it is customer facing or internal operations, and define a seamless and well connected supply chain. Telemedicine and other remote services, where they go beyond the physical boundaries and extend healthcare as a service. So here we are talking of a change in model. Instead of having a physical location where the hospital is located with all its paraphernalia and equipments, it goes outside and reaches out to people in terms of providing those services remotely. Digital for HR. So most of the hospitals are looking at defining the baseline digital applications for connecting their HR applications and looking at covering the entire employee life cycle from entry to exit and seamlessly connect them. And we believe that over a period of time, a new learning ecosystem will evolve. Embracing cloud for applications, be it on public or private cloud, is a huge theme that is running across hospitals, and we believe that it will be prominently there for 22-23. Leveraging emerging technologies, be it on third-party platforms like Google, AWS, or Microsoft, and looking at building their own platforms for enterprise scale emerging technologies. And finally, looking at piecemeal basis in which data science skills and data analytics can be harnessed internally, because there's a lot of data. Each hospital is taking point applications, defining point applications in terms of harnessing all the data. Two of these, the digital healthcare platform and embracing cloud for applications, be it on public or private basis, are the hot areas, and other four are moderately hot, or I would say warm areas moving forward. So I did an attempt at mapping what is the priority for hospitals for 22-23 as a researcher's perspective, with the 7 principles that we obtained from very high digital transformation matured organization.